craft beer journey and just kind of have some fun with us tonight, drink a few beers and see what comes up in the conversation. But I guess Denny, we'll ask him. Conor, what are you drinking this evening?
I've got three differents. I got the Buju from Brighter Days. Before I left this past weekend, me and my buddy Corey went over to Brighter Days. Got to meet Chad, awesome dude. Was sampling some of his fine fare. I got his hat upstairs too. It's a New England style IPA, Vic Secret Strata Citra. It's kind of like it's got a small earthy note and some dank to it. Really good. I also have their Chickity Czech style Pilsner from Brighter Days. He on the way out the door, he's like, "Here you go." I was like, "Damn it! Now I gotta check my bag." So I'm like, "Okay, fine." And then I've got one of my favorites, Definitive Conti. It's a classic Kolsch style. We can get into that one later. There's a story behind that. So, but yeah, I've got a little bit. What do you guys? How are you guys?
Well, I got a little bit of Revolution Brewing. So the Death's Tar from Chicago, Illinois. This is Denny. I think this is one of my last beers that I have from when Megan went up there for training.
Is that one of the new 19.2 cans?
Yeah. So here,
that's becoming a very big note growing.
Because you need 19.2 of a big beer.
Well, listen, we're all excited about, big beers coming in like the 16-ounce cans. And then
you've got almost a 20-ounce.
12 ounce. Yeah. So, we don't go for the big glass bombers anymore. We have to have, something close. But this is a regular 12-ounce can. This thing is freaking gigantic.
What's the ABV on that thing?
14 some change.
14.8.
It's gonna be a good day tonight, fellas.
Wow.
I got that. But before the show, I had a golden monkey from Victory, and I don't know, these are what, 8-9% too. So I was preparing for a good time. 9.5% on that one.
Yeah. Wow.
Then I think it's only gonna be me and you by the end.
I've got all light beers.
Good. Well, you might have to carry the show then. So but what about you, Denny? What's in your glass this evening, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good. As we mentioned, I am also tired. We won't go into the details, but I did return back from my trip to Oregon. I didn't pick this up in Oregon, but I'm drinking an Oregon beer, one of my favorite breweries in Oregon, Boneyard Beer. It's their RPM IPA, their flagship IPA. And it's just a very easy drinking, pleasant West Coast style IPA with Pacific Northwest hops and just super smooth. I mean, imagine drinking an IPA that goes down like Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale. You can just drink this sucker all day long. It's really nice. So, and it's only 6.5%. So I'm the low man here. What was your ABV on the beer you're drinking right now, Conor? Is it low or high?
This is 7.
7? Okay, so I'm still
7 on this, but that's my only quote unquote big boy for the evening. And the rest are all Pilsners. No, trust me, I go straight to double New Englands that are 8, 9, 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
The more that I can chew it.
Yeah. So that's a funny thing is I was in Oregon in the Portland area, and I went to every single store looking for beers. And when I go to normally you go to a store or and you see a lot of IPAs, but in the Portland area, the entire stores are all IPAs, and you might find a wheat ale and maybe a Goza if you're lucky, and then everything else is the domestic lagers and stuff. But all the craft beer is all big IPAs or regular IPAs. So, it's great. I love IPAs, but when I was with my daughter, and she doesn't like IPAs, so I was trying to find something I like and get her something as well. It was tough.
You're talking about the former mecca of the craft world. It's transitioned to the first Portland.
That's true. Yeah, which I still need to get to. Is that where you're at, Conor?
Yeah, I live up in Maine. So
yeah, but are you in Portland or are you?
I'm about 40 minutes south of Portland.
Okay.
So
you get the beers at least and get to the areas and enjoy all the great
much
craft
of
beer.
my wife's chagrin, yes, I do.
Well, good. Well, hey, you know what? Let's get this show started because we got some content to go through. But before we get too far into the show, we always want to let anyone new listening to Tap to Craft know what we're all about. We are an educational podcast focused around celebrating all things craft beer because we want to assist you, our listener, along in your craft beer journey and adventures. And you're listening to episode 208. We're recording on Tuesday today, not Monday, Tuesday. We are delayed one day, July 12th, 2022. We are live on Facebook. If you want to join us and watch how this show is made, join us normally on Monday before the Thursday release, but sometimes on Tuesday. And you can watch us. We're also on Twitter. Got the Twitter feed up. I got one person in there, or at least one person that's watching on Twitter too. So that's nice. But yeah, we do that on the when we record. And in this episode, we will be talking to Conor, finding about his craft beer journey and also about starting up a pizza and beer establishment 2,000 miles away from home. Who does that?
Funny. It's we'll get into that one.
Okay. And of course, you can count on us having some great beer conversation as well. So let's get into the conversation and start right in on your craft beer journey, Conor. You know that we love talking about people's craft beer journeys, how they started, how it grows over time, and where they are now. How it's always evolving.
Right.
So first off, we want to ask you, when did you discover craft beer?
Well, that's funny because when you think about that, I grew up mid-state PA, and from a very young age, I was my size, slightly slimmer, but I was 6'9" at a very early age. So I was actually 18 working security down in downtown Harrisburg, like the gingerbread man. And all I saw was like the old school IPAs, Sierra Nevada, but I didn't at that point understand exactly what it was. But fast forward to however many years, when I first moved up here from Baltimore up to Maine for a job, I happened to come across the first week in November is Portland Beer Week. And I was sitting in a place called the Thirsty Pig. I just kind of happened about it, never knew about anything. And I sat down and they were having a collaboration night between Bissell Brothers and Night Shift Brewing down out of Boston. And it was a really cool event. It was kind of really new to me. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I'll try this, I'll try that. And then all of a sudden I saw this one that said Viva Habanero by Night Shift. Okay, sure. What could happen? Really? I took a sip of that, and that was a full 16-ounce tulip to the brim, and I took a sip of it, and it lit me on fire. I'm half Danish. I eat cheese and pastries. I don't do heat. And I was like, I can't drink this. So I traded it with an IPA from somebody else, but that's the funny story of that's what sparked the renaissance for me, is the ability to bring the capsaicin through all the way from the mash to the wort and the fermentation to keep that heat there is just insane. And I thought about that over and over again. So I started looking for other stuff, and being up here, there's plenty of stuff to find. And that was just the ladder or the cliff, whatever you want to think about it, was the journey that brought me to where I'm at now. That was 9-10 years ago. Okay,
so you're still fairly young in your craft.
I am. But it's like I grew up mid-state PA drinking, Yingling. You know what I mean? So it's you don't say Yingling, you just say, hey, can I get a lager? You know what I mean? So
well, Jack has already decided to hop on here, Conor, and tell you that the guy with the long beard is so handsome.
I can't see it. I was trying to see the comments on my other screen, and all of a sudden it started playing it. I was like, stop.
Yeah, if you saw my screen, I've got like this over here. I've got two monitors here. This over here, the Zoom meeting in the middle. I've got all the comments going on this side, and the rest of the stuff that I got to look at over on this one. But it's hard to keep it all. Sometimes I'll use my phone to watch those comments too. So, hi, Jack. It's good to see you, sir.
So Conor, you went to that festival, got to appreciate some beers that were probably pretty special since it was a collab as well. And so that kind of opened your eye that there's more to beer than just, lager type styles, that there's flavors and even heat, as you mentioned. Even though you're not a big fan of heat, it still made you think, wow, that is something different.
Well, it chewed on me for a long time. And especially like that was kind of a transition where I moved up in the end, actually the September 30th, because I was starting my job the next day, October 1st. And my family wasn't here for about a month and a half. So I was working downtown Portland. So I got to walk, and I always walked around, and Portland is a great city, great food city to start with. But then the last 10 years, the last 15 years, the microcosm of everything of Maine kind of said, sorry, Portland number 2, we've got it. And it's like, it just really solidified it from, the OG from Allagash, and there's Geary's and some of the other ones that even the locals are like, but you got Austin Street from Bissell Brothers to Definitive. I can keep going at least. And that's just Portland proper, from Industry Way and everything else to everything around. You can start at the very tip from Kittery going all the way up Route 1 and then split. It's from everywhere. You can't not hit craft and Maine and not being delicious.
Yeah. Nice. So one of the things we recently did on episode 200, which was about 8 episodes ago, we talked about our Mount Rushmore of beers, and now known as Mount Beermore.
Hey.
And we kind of went through our craft beer journeys and came up with 4 different beers that would represent the birth of our craft beer journey, a beer that was a growth during our growth period of craft beer and our development, which is again, you come to a point where you now want to, sustain something more, more complex, like Belgian beers or something. And then, of course, the preservation beer. One beer you had over that time that may or may not still be around that you would want to preserve for everyone to remember, for history to come. So I know that Chris provided you with these questions. By any chance,
I didn't get any prep. What are you talking about? No. No.
Did you have a time to think about these beers?
We also didn't really discuss what any of this, like, I didn't get into, well, hey, this is what the birth, growth, development, and preservation means. But
I got it.
I figured
when he sent it over to me and I started kind of going through it, I was like, okay, I get where you guys are going. And it really is like, I do have some that jump right out to me. And it was in that first year. It really, like, when you talk about like a Rushmore Beermore, it is the beginning of the Renaissance. One would say, you've got the Bissell Brothers Substance, and then once you get their double swish, that's up there. But there's a little one up in Newcastle, but they have their bottling plant and aging up in the hill the hill in Portland is Oxbow Brewing. They make a barrel-aged farmhouse called Arboreal. It is at least, like, I believe they age it for about 18 months to 2 years. And when it comes out, it's that farmhouse Saison style, which you guys had me just commenting right away when I was watching that one. I was like, that's me. It's easily top 5 of everything that I've ever had. And like that was, and plus, it's that farmhouse style, like and it's, to me, that would be up there.
But in which spot would this be? Was this like, would that be more in your growth?
That was more in my growth. I would say that was because you don't see farmhouse and saisons from, you don't see that. And then that's part of that, the palate education and development that you really need to understand, because really farmhouse and saisons are not for everybody.
No,
especially how,
Tell me about it.
Oh, trust me. I mean, I had their 5-6 months ago before the renovation. So it was earlier in the year. At the shop, I had a Grand Cru from Oxbow, and it was a slim. It wasn't very big, but that lasted about 2 months because the complexity and the sous vide, and it was a blend of two different sous vides that created the Grand Cru. And like you had it, Chris?
No.
No? All right. I can dig it up and show you guys in another episode, but that was very complex, very, deep. And the beer nerds that were coming in that were starting to get to know the shop, to know the complexity of the drafts that I've got, they were like, oh, like that. And when a beer nerd can come in and go, oh, you're on that right path. So that was like that. The Oxbow, the Arboreal, was more of that development. That's what it is. As a preservation beer, I got to go back to lager, man. I mean, I grew up on that. It's like a good amber style, America's oldest brewery. That's up there for me. Like just growing up on it legally.
Okay, so Yingling lager.
Yeah, I mean, and some people are gonna hate on that, and I'm gonna go.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like Massachusetts has the license for it, so if I really want it, I can go, an hour south and go get some 16-ounce cans and bring them back. They don't make it, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's that one's more that preservation and more emotionally connected for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So as far as beer more, I mean, there's just way too many.
No, you got to pick one for each of the things. So what would be your birth one? The one that you really like sunk your teeth into early on, that you really enjoyed and you want to remember that beer.
That is
in stone on a stone mountain. Can't think of it.
No, there are too many. Like I start going through the Rolodex and I'm like, I can't, like there's, especially up from here. I mean, for one of my jobs, I traveled the country and traveled the planet. I mean, I was up in Portland in one of my trips. I got to go to Wayfinder and Great Ocean, and Holy Mountain up in Seattle, down to San Diego in California, Monkish out in Terrence, out of LA. Those guys are knocking stuff out of the park. They ship within California. Monkish, if you're watching, ship that east. And all the way now down to Tampa. And there are some great, I cannot label one as I am such a lover of the craft and of the industry that I cannot, like, I'll tell stories endless about, when I was in Israel, there was a 10-barrel operation out there, and I was like, this is amazing. And there was an American when I was going to the Osaka, Japan area that opened up American style brewing that wasn't really common out there. So it's like that. I can't go, like, it's just not.
You can. You just choose not to. That's okay. I understand. You're non-committal. You guys commit till one beer. But that's okay. We'll move on. We understand that it is a tough question, and it's hard to put someone on the spot. And you did good. You did name a few beers, but let's move on to since you've only been in the craft beer for about 10 years. Any chance that you got into home brewing because you enjoyed it, or since 10 years ago we really had so much variety of beer out there and easy to get, you didn't need a home brew, right?
Oh yeah, no. It's one of those things that, I mean, I do have a system. I have a claw hammer supply, single barrel brew in a basket system. And I've got the Firmzilla 27-liter fermenter that I can pressure ferment. I haven't used it yet. I got it. It's all about time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's other than being part owner in the restaurant down in Tampa while living 1,500 miles away, I still have a day job. So it's always that teeter-totter that I play of coming home, making sure that things are done at home. And eventually I'm getting to it. I understand the process, the chemistry and the biology behind it and all of that nature. It's just really getting into it. I am an aspiring brewer. I really do. It's just I haven't had the time. And a lot of you are, again, flame on. Sorry. So
no, I'm the same way, right? Everyone asks me why I don't homebrew. And it's like, I don't have the time. And there's so much good beer out there. I don't want to be stuck drinking something that is not as good if I don't make it that.
You're looking at this as a 50-50 choice. You'd be like, it's either really good or I have to suck this down.
Because I'm not going to dump it unless it's really bad. I'm going to drink it, and then I'm not drinking better beer. So I think I will probably go into it when I retire as a, keep me busy. But again, I plan on doing traveling while I retire. So again, I won't have time.
And brewing's going to go out the window because all your money is going to go to other breweries as you travel.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could name, this is a question we like to ask. If you could name a beer, what would you name it and what style would it be?
It would be a double New England.
Okay.
Big, beefy, chewy. And that's the name. Chewy.
Okay. There you go. I get it.
For those of you,
Yeti, Chewy, something of that nomenclature.
For those of you that don't get the chance to go to the Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers, it's a nerd haven, which I do enjoy.
Yes.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's definitely a concentration on Star Wars, especially if you're sitting at the beer bar. But you guys are
off to the right.
Yeah, so he's looking at all of us disappointingly. But yeah, just you guys are doing a Thor promotion right now. You guys were giving away some stuff. You guys were,
we pulled the winners this past weekend, and there were some really happy kids. So
and then I love there's just a wall, Denny, of if you're familiar with Funko Pops at all, there's just an entire section of Funko Pops.
That would be Jack.
Yeah, well, you guys all get your thing.
All right, Conor, one last question. By any chance, do you use Untapped or Rate Beer or any of those things?
I have it at the shop, and I have it on my phone for myself. And that was my New Year's resolution this year. Actually be more active, keeping track. I'm failing miserably.
That's okay. There's still time to work, but there's one question we like to ask because it's how you rate your beers. You rate your beers by the style of beer, like you 1 to 5 caps based on the style, or do you rate overall against all the beers you had as far as enjoyment of that beer?
I rate per the style that I have. Like if it's a single, I'll go back into the memory block and
I quit.
All right,
that's it.
Where are you going? For me, it's personally like from the doubles and all the Kolsch's out there. Whether for me, a Kolsch should be nice, clean, crisp. It's like very high clarity. But I've had some a little bit of cloudy Kolsch's that have a more body, which I prefer. So I rate that. I kind of really do take that in. So
okay, good. Well, you're right. You're correct.
Denny, I think as that was just explained, I think I inadvertently do it too.
Of course, everyone does it, but they don't admit to it. I'm the only one that me and Conor admit to it, that we judge it by.
Okay, by I do it by the style.
Okay, all right. Well, we're the winners.
Then what is? Here's a question shooting back at you two. What is the other styles? Like, how would you not rate a beer on Untapped?
I honestly just, for lack of describing it, I just rate it on how much I enjoy it. Right. And if I'm drinking this, I'm going, wow, this is a 4.5, 5 cap rating beer. This is great. I don't look at this and go, as far as all the other barrel aged
14% at the end of that cup, it's a 5-star.
Listen, I'm starting to feel it, I'll admit. But just looking at it and going, compared to the last stout that I had, this is, a little bit better. I guess I kind of do all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I use Untapped not just as a social, application. I use it also to be able to go back and see a beer that I'm interested in buying more of and seeing how I rated it and whether I want to spend my money on it. So for me, when I'm in the mood for a certain style of beer, I want to know that when I go and look for that style, I can find the ones that I have the highest rating, knowing I'm going to enjoy it for the style I'm looking for. And like you said, I love Kolsch as well. And if, a highly rated Kolsch is going to be, a go-getter. Now, will a highly rated Kolsch match up to a highly rated New England IPA if I didn't have that separation? It's hard to say, right? Or a stout.
You had, like, for me, it is a style driven. Like, you can't rate apples to oranges, right? Like the whole great saying. You
it would
can't
be
take
the fruit. Yeah. You rate overall fruit.
Take something that's purposely built to be clear, clean, crisp with a hop profile, and to something that goes, oh, good. Hey, like you can't do that. It's all about that moment that you're actually enjoying it, Chris. But also at the same time, you have to base it upon what you're drinking and the styles and the history that you've had.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Okay. Well, hey, we'll let you off the hook for now, Conor. We'll come back to you in a little bit.
All right.
But we want to go ahead and thank our Patreon supporters, because this episode is brought to you in part by our satisfied Patreon supporters like Mike Allen, Bill Schlemmer, Amanda and Kevin Argauer, Mark Reedy, Mike Blanchard, Tara Carlson, Jim Kutzall, and our virtual producers, Tom Byrne, Jeff Seiler, Johan Halberg, Chad Lamassa, Mark Church, Eric Groundley, and Matt Knight, who want to buy us a virtual beer. If you enjoy the content we provide, we invite you to support the show by toasting your host or buying us a virtual beer, or even becoming a virtual producer. You can explore the options on our support page by visiting patreon.com/tapthecraft. Hey, Chris, we got some feedback.
You're right. We did.
Why don't you go ahead and read the feedback we got from Mr. Chad Lamassa?
Well, I'm sure we'll have to share continue his check-in streak in here too. But Chad wrote us an email. He said, "Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've reached out, so I thought I would. Cindy and I have continued doing our Saturday brewery trips, and yesterday we went to Cushwa, which is one of our favorites. After that, we went to 3 breweries in West Virginia, Amani Brewing in Martinsburg, and then Cacapon Mountain Brewing Company and Berkeley Springs Brewing Company, both in Berkeley Springs. They all had great beers. My favorites on the day were Fireside, a chocolate caramel coffee porter from Amani, Bathweiser, a Keller beer from Cacapon, and In Other Words, that's the name, not words, which was a delicious brown ale with coffee and hints of butterscotch, also from Cacapon. But the best part of these trips has been watching Cindy's palate develop. When we first started going, she only liked ciders, but she's gotten into meads and sours and most recently stouts, and to a lesser extent, porters. She especially liked coffee stouts. Mm-hmm. She also really liked the Fireside from Amani. Not only do I get to spend these days with my wonderful wife of 20 years, but I've been helping her along on her craft beer journey without even really knowing it. It's the cross that we bear, my friend. Mm-hmm. It's obviously not a secret, but she never said to me, I want to appreciate more beers or anything like that. It just kind of happened from her taking sips of mine and then trying things herself. It's been fun to be your guide and pay it forward from my beer mentor.
Yeah. So wonderful story. Thank you, Chad, for sharing that. And I think in one of your previous voicemails and emails you sent, where we talked about, about the enjoyment of going out and you and your wife visiting these breweries and getting familiar with new styles and new breweries. And you mentioned that she didn't like she drinks ciders or other stuff. And that's kind of the same way. My wife, when we first, of course, our craft beer journey has been 30 some years in the making, but even back then she liked just like regular lagers, nothing else. So she would drink, well, she liked dark lagers too. She had this dark lager she really liked, but she wasn't into other styles. And then slowly, after us visiting breweries and her doing the same things, taking a sip of my beer, some things she would like, some things she wouldn't, she slowly started to appreciate IPAs, and now she loves IPAs. She always enjoyed the darker beers as well as she grew. So it just happens over time, and you just created you started her craft beer journey.
A monster. You created a monster.
Yeah, you created a monster. But you know what? It's great, and I look forward to hearing how her craft beer journey evolves in the next few years that we're still doing this, because that's good. And congrats on 20 years too. That's great. That's great. Okay. And Chris, did you get those voicemails I sent you?
Sure did.
Are you ready to, we got 2 of them to play.
Which one you want to go with? Let's say
let's
ladies
go with
first.
Tara.
Yeah,
go Tara first, because she sent hers before Jim.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Hi, Tap the Craft. This is Tara, and I am drinking a beer called Mi Casa Tu Casa, a Czech-style Pilsner.
Milko style?
From Tripping Animals Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
In Florida. I had a hard, frustrating day at work. I'm in the pool. And possibly harming my phone by drifting along with my phone to talk to you. I love a Czech Pilsner. This one's got a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. I mean, bitter as in bitter,
Graphite.
not as in puppy sort of things. And I'm eating chips left over from the pool party celebration of Andel's birthday, which in spite of being totally outside, turned into a super spreader event. But other than that, life is looking good. So, yeah, I guess I'd recommend this beer. But it's not my favorite Czech Pilsner. That's it. I like to keep it brief. Bye.
Awesome, Tara. Not good you guys super spread, but hey, it happens, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was a great voicemail, and we appreciate that. And guess what? You are entered into the contest, and are you ready for that too, Chris, after we get this last did you prepare?
Listen, I can prepare on the fly. That's basically my life anymore, because we'll be giving away a Frost Buddy.
A Frost Buddy, that's right. Yeah. A Frost Buddy. Mine's
specially customized with the appropriate logos. So but who's counting? All right, you ready to move on to Jim's?
Let's get Jim's.
All right, here we go.
Hello everybody. Jim Kudzall here, calling to give my review so I can get on the docket for that.
Hang on a second.
Jim just said it was her wedding, not her birthday.
Oh, okay. So it was the micro wedding that was a super spreader. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it was the wedding, not the birthday. I'm pretty sure we did this last episode, but cheers to the wedding.
Yes. Cheers to the wedding.
So let's
it was one hell of a wedding if she can't remember.
Yeah, she's like, it was a birthday party. Happy birthday, Andel.
She was overly stressed because she didn't want to lose her phone in the pool.
Well, she was eating chips left over from the birthday/wedding party. Must have been
maybe that's where the bitterness is coming from.
Yeah. Well, thanks for setting us straight there, Jim. Let's get back into your voicemail.
Guys, I'm gonna win.
He's not surprised.
Actually, I'm gonna do a comparison. 2 beers made by the same brewery. Brewery is called True Respite. And they're out of Deerwood, Maryland.
I like those guys.
Actually, I got both of these beers as a birthday present from one of my daughters, Andel.
You mean a wedding present?
I had a birthday a couple days ago, hit the big 7-0.
Oh, Jim had the birthday.
Maybe it's Jim's birthday party.
And actually, my kids say I'm pretty easy to buy for presents. So they know. All they have to do is get me beer, and I'm good to go. Anyway, 2 beers from the same brewery. They're both hazy New England IPAs. One is called Week Away, and that's W-E-E-K. The other one is called Dad Hat. A Week Away comes in a 12-ounce can. Dad Hat comes in a 16-ounce can. They are both very similar. Week Away is 6.5% ABV. Dad Hat is 6.2%. I would say that I would give the nod to Dad Hat. I'd give it an extra quarter. I might rate Dad Hat 4.25 caps. Week Away maybe 4.0. They're both really good. Dad Hat has a little bit bigger head to it, and if you look at the color, they're both very similar, like a hazy yellow color. Flavor-wise, I guess Week Away probably has more of an orangey type flavor, where Dad Hat is has a little bit more pineapple-ish flavor to it. But they're both really good. And I'm going to try to keep this to 3 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up quick. I'd recommend either one. Give them a shot. They're both local here, so they're easy to find around here. May not be where you are, wouldn't know. But I would recommend either one of these to anyone who's into any kind of hazy New England IPA style of beer. And keep up the good work with Tap the Craft. And I hope I win.
Well, you got a good chance, Jim. Good chance, because 25% chance that you win,
Right.
50% chance that you or
Tara
win.
Yeah.
So you have a good chance of winning a Frostbuddy, because
I have
What's up?
questions.
Yeah.
So first off, Jim said that Andel's birthday is in November. So
okay.
But second thing, Jim, were you calling us from the wedding? Because it sounded like you were listening to some quality tunes in the background.
No, the wedding was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that a couple.
Yeah. He called just yesterday.
Well, I want to know where you were.
It was probably Big Brother, or what's the one they watch all the time?
The Bachelor.
Yeah, Bachelorette.
Yeah, they put the Bachelor on hold so they can watch us, which is, I think, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. That is awesome.
But no, that brewery, True Respite or True Respite, however they pronounce it, I do have some labels of theirs up on my.
Did I catch that right? That's out of Maryland?
Yeah, they're in Southern Maryland. Jim said it was just the usual pool background music. Okay, that's basically like our pool. Okay, but yeah, they're out of Maryland. They're in kind of, if I remember correctly, they're in Southern Maryland. I want to say they're around the La Plata area, but I'm sure he'll tell me here in a second. But yeah,
I was just up there. I was just up in that area a couple months ago for training. I got to go, if you guys know who the masters of homebrew, Sapwood Cellars. Yeah, look that up. You'll find those two guys are like, I got in there and I just tried a couple of them and I was like, okay, changed my view of what, and this, Maryland's my home state, changed my view of what's going on up there. So, or down there.
Yeah, well, it's down there for you. It's up there for us. Denny's just kind of over there.
I'm over there.
Yeah,
but that congratulations, Jim, on the birthday. 70 years
birthday,
old,
buddy.
Yes, and still going strong.
And you made the message within 3 minutes.
And you made the message within 3 minutes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And his birthday is the same day as my sister's birthday, so that's pretty awesome too. Yeah. Okay, so with that, are you ready to spin the wheel? We have 4 names: Matt Knight, Jeff Seiler, Tara Carlson, and Jim Kudzall.
Yeah,
all have a chance of winning.
Look at that. I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's spin it. Let's see who wins.
I hope this is not too loud, but let's see who wins.
How long did it take you to do that, Chris?
I was doing it while we were listening to his message. We got sound and everything. Look at us go.
Wait, I don't hear the sound. But that's okay.
I know.
Oh, wait. Oh, is it? No. Jim. No. Matt. Oh, Tara. Oh, wait a minute. Tara might have won. Derek Carlson, you are the big winner of a Frost Buddy. I have
Confetti
two
and everything.
choices.
I know
Yes,
the production quality is just insane.
two choices. You can choose the stainless steel or the one that has rainbow colors. And I meant to grab it before I sat down, but I didn't, so I can't show you. But it's like a mystic paint changing color thing. I think you might like that on the pool. So let me know which one you want. I'll send that out to you, and maybe you can share it with Jim too.
Can you send me mine, Denny?
I know I need to send yours too.
And send John's too.
I'm thinking about just giving them away to our listeners.
Wait a minute, he already has one.
Listen, I paid for this one, and then I contacted them and said, "Hey, could you sponsor us?" But you know,
yeah,
I'll trade you a beer for one. Anyway,
Okay.
congratulations, Tara. Denny, do you already have her address?
I'll get their address. Don't worry. I'll send it. I might have their address, but I don't remember.
If
I
not,
think I do.
If not, guys, just send us an email to tapthecraft@gmail.com and we will get that out to you. Or Denny will get that out to you.
Yeah, I'll get it out to you fast too. I was quick in getting bills to him all the way in Florida when he was traveling.
That's right. He was in Florida. Yeah.
Okay, so if you would like to contact the show with your comments and questions, you can reach us through email at tapthecraft@gmail.com or Twitter and Instagram if you want to just shoot us a little social media at tapthecraft. And of course, on our Facebook page at facebook.com/tapthecraft. And we do have our very own website at tapthecraft.com. Chris, are you ready to continue this conversation? Because now it's time to untap the craft and see what our listeners are drinking according to Untapped.
And they did say they are close to La Plata too. She wants Mystic.
I'll get you Mystic.
Let's see. We're close to La Plata. I believe True Respite is in Montgomery County. We've got a couple of comments here. Tina said, "Go Tara." She did her beer drinking right. So I would imagine she means by the pool. Yeah, because that's where we do most of ours too. But yeah, let's get into this Untap the Craft. Guys, if you want us to read your check-ins, make sure you follow me at MCK1345. And we usually read the majority of the check-ins that come in about 24 hours before we record. So we're mixing things up a little bit because I wasn't around to record yesterday. So we're, recording tonight. So here we go. Mr. Craig Andrew here in the Tampa, Florida area is drinking Tiny S's by Prairie Artisan Ales. He said it's better than I remember. Prairie be that sour slinger. 4 3/4 caps for that beer from Prairie. Lauren F is drinking an Ada County Stout by Woodland Empire. Isn't that by you, Denny?
Yeah, it's in Boise.
Yeah. Woodland Empire, 4.5 caps for that beer. No notes to go along with it. Johann Hallberg, I just love reading his check-ins just because, half of them I can read and half of them I can't. He's drinking I believe the way this is pronounced is Sesqui, S-E-X-Q, or I'm sorry, S-E-X, S-E-S-Q-U-I, Sesqui Axe by Buxton Brewery. He just wrote L8. Late. So 3 cap rating for that one, I guess. Mr. Alex Fuchs is drinking a Magnifera Indica by Schnitt Brewing Company at Brew Shop. 4 cap rating for that one. That's a cool label too. I like that one.
That's a new brewery in Israel.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been there yet because I haven't been to
it's been a
Israel
while since
in 2
you got
years.
to visit. Jeff Seiler's checking in at the Blue Ridge Beer Hub, and he's haven't talked names yet by Dissolver. He said on draft, really tasty, hazy double IPA, fruity notes with a little coconut. Nice.
Must have some Sabro in there then.
4 cap rating for that one. He also checked into Hop Beard Mountain Man IPA by Fonta Flora Brewing. On draft, tasty West Coast IPA, nice hoppy and piney flavors. 3 3/4 caps for that one. Mr. Jim Kudzall is drinking a Final Tour by 1700 Brewing Company. He said this Imperial IPA clocking it at 11% ABV
That's a triple.
Yeah, listen.
That's way above Imperial.
I guess that's a big one. This Imperial IPA clocking in at 11% ABV was another birthday gift. See, just buy dad beer. Denny, you and I were tagged in this also. If you didn't,
I haven't been on Untapped.
Toast that one. Yeah, I toasted before Denny did, Jim. Just make sure.
I haven't been on Untapped in a couple of days. Sorry.
Okay. He said, there's another birthday gift. Hoppy. And did I say hoppy? But incredibly smooth, no harshness at all. A great offering from a veteran-owned nano brewery in Newport News, Virginia. Came in a 16-ounce can, 4 3/4 caps for that beer. Moving up the list,
Just see the IBUs on that. An Imperial West Coast.
An Imperial West Coast. Yeah, it's probably not going to.
That was the same one, right?
So funny enough, this says 107. Right?
1,000.
Yeah, it says 642.
666.
Yeah. Jeff Seiler's been checking into a couple other things too. Stone Delicious IPA. He said, I can't believe I haven't had this. Listen, gluten reduced, I do believe.
Reduced, you're right. Gluten reduced. Sorry. My mistake.
On draft, can't believe I haven't had this yet. Nice citrusy West Coast IPA, 3 3/4 caps. But he also checked into the High Wire Lager. He's been bouncing around a little bit too. Richard Kendall, I haven't read your name in a very long time. He's in Ohio. Also drinking the legendary Shanda by Three Floyds Brewing Company. It was such a Shanda. He just said, 3 3/4 caps to go along with that one. David Martin is drinking a Pool Honey's Peach Milkshake IPA by Fire Forge Crafted Beer. 3 3/4 caps to go along with that one. Ooh. JC drinking a Mary by Hill Farmstead.
Oh.
4 1/4 caps. That was about 3 hours ago. There's a oyster shell on his glass. I'm not sure who that's from.
Cannot go wrong with Hill Farmstead.
Oyster Rock was the glass he's drinking out of. Here it is, continuing his check-in streak. Yep. And Chad is in the Towson area too. Drinking a Deer Iris by Saga Brewing Company. This is a liquid strawberry ice cream, a bit tart, very nice. 4 1/2 caps for that one. I believe that's his 24,000th show. It's continuing his check-in streak. Let's see. 2 check-ins from David Martin, Gin Barrel Aged Elliott, which he gave 4 1/2 caps for, which is a Manic Meadery, and also Symptom of Progeny by Burial Beer Company, 4 1/4 caps on that one. Let's see. John WC is drinking a Double Dog by Flying Dog Brewery. Super thick and syrupy caramel malt with a nice resinous, mildly bitter, and pine hoppiness. Noticeable but appropriate alcohol burn that lingers. 4 1/4 caps. You know, funny enough, if you go about 30 minutes south of where that beer is brewed, you can go to a place called Ann's Dairy Cream and get something called a Double Dog, which it's in Glen Burnie. If you ever make it back that way to Conor, make sure you go stop there.
Towson's my home. Like, I grew up Towson.
So just outside of in Anne Arundel County. So go in Glen Burnie, there's a place called Ann's Dairy Cream, which has been there for 70 plus years now. I miss it. I really do. If I could have a cheeseburger sub and a banana milkshake right now, that would just really do it. You what? Oh no, something froze. What just happened?
You were doing so good.
Oh God, here we are. I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
Thank God.
What happened? Your internet was working so good, and all of a sudden you froze.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
Like, I looked at him, I'm like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. I got nervous for a second.
Tell the girls to lay off of YouTube while we record.
Okay. All right. The Gnarly Gnome is checking into a couple of beers with us. Pina Colada Dreams by Grainworks Brewing Company. He said, oh man, nailed it. Creamy, smooth, pineapple and coconut summer dreams. Start with a pint of this. Pina Colada Dreams by Grainworks. No rating for that one, but he also checked into, Denny, this might be right up your alley too. The Rye Saison.
Oh, yeah.
By Grainworks Brewing Company. How do you feel about rye in your beer, Connor?
I dig rye.
Yeah?
I do rye.
Yeah, rye's good.
I love rye in my beer.
Rye's pretty tasty. Now, Saison, though, that's where you get me because I'll try it.
It's perfect. It's perfect for a Saison because it gives you that savory spiciness to the savory herbs. And
well, the Gnarly Gnome says it's earthy, a touch of fruit, touch of rye spice. This is excellent. I love it. That was about an hour ago.
Yeah,
nice.
I would say the rye plays right into the herbal note of a Saison.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys. Craig Andrews checking in at the Crooked Thumb Brewery. He's drinking the Hazy Adventures #3 and Swift Tornadors. Tornadors. Yeah, that's even better. I like saying it that way.
Tornadors.
Tornadors. Hey, excuse me. Let me take another sip of this 14% beer.
That is Chris's.
Yeah, you guys would watch out if there's a tornado warning. Bill Schlemmer is drinking a Hop Together by Barrel and Beam. Pleasant farmhouse ale, a bit of Brett, a little citrus, a little hops, 3 3/4 caps. And I'm going to hit refresh and see what shows up. And oh, wow. Look at, geez, I'm going to have to check through these real quick.
Okay, make it quick because
I'm trying. I'm sorry. Geez,
run through it. Come on, snap.
Oh, don't you snap me. JC's also checking in at Hill Farmstead Brewing with a Nelson single hop pale ale at 4 1/4 caps. And Mark Conor, Farm Stand Fresh Mango by Deschutes. 4 caps for that one. And Eric Gronley checking in at the Gronley headquarters.
Yes,
he's drinking
Eric.
a Crow Wing Cream Ale by Roundhouse Brewery. He said, awesome cream ale from Roundhouse, a twist on the style with German style hops that bring an herbal floral flavor in the finish. Very tasty. 4 1/4 caps for that beer. And that's what everybody's drinking.
Okay. Well, let's roll into our Beer Speak 101 segment where we briefly define common and not so common beer terminology. In this episode, we will explain what it means when we talk about growlers, which is a perfect topic because we're going to be talking about growlers.
Should we talk about that or should
yeah. So we've mentioned growlers before in the early episodes. Remember, this is our last show of season 8. 8 years of Taps of Craft is completing tonight. But what's that?
I'm the bookend?
Well, of 8 years, yeah.
You're the supporting guest, not a bookend.
Yeah. All right. So growlers are a jug or pail-like container once used to carry draft beer bought by the measure at a local tavern. Growlers are usually a half gallon, which is 64 ounces, or 2 liters, which is 68 ounces in volume and made of glass. Brew pubs often serve growlers to sell beer to go. Often a customer will pay a deposit on a growler, but can bring it back again and again for a refill. Growlers to go are not legal in all U.S. states. Now, some of this is there are growlers that are not glass, that are made of metal, and there's different sizes besides just the 64. And at one point, it was a deposit, but most of the breweries back when growlers were a big thing, they made you buy that glass container for a nominal fee of like $2. And you can bring it back for more. But that's my history with growlers. I used to buy a lot of growlers when you couldn't get a lot of local breweries. They didn't bottle or can. And if I wanted to bring something home, you had to get a growler. There were no crowlers. There were nothing else. You had to buy this growler and you had to go drink it like the next day.
Within 48 hours.
Yeah. So I usually did that when I was having a few people over so they could help me drink it. I have drank Growlers in one sitting by myself. The best one I did was a 12% Imperial Blonde Ale, which I didn't know Imperial Blonde was a thing, or Imperial Golden Blonde. 12%, 64 ounces. I drank 3 glasses, took a nap, woke up, and finished the last glass. Boom. That's a true story.
Denny Luce, you're my hero.
12%, 64 ounces. Yeah.
I remember 2016 when I had Growlers too.
I wasn't going to waste that beer. I was not going to waste it.
Wait a minute. We can't date Growlers.
You're right. I'm sorry. That's not even fair.
They're still prevalent. They're still useful. They're still purposeful.
They are. I have spare change in mine on my dresser.
Not helping, Chris.
And then I can also put wonderful beer in them down at Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, you know what? Talking about Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers, now it's time for the Brew Buzz. And the Brew Buzz is devoted to discussing various beer-related topics. And this week we will be discussing opening a pizza and beer establishment. Some insight from Mr. Conor Larsen. So Conor, we understand you've already mentioned that you are part owner in a Florida-based pizzeria and a beer establishment called Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers. So let's get. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to just pop out 3 things. Go ahead and answer these in as long as you want. When did you open, and what do you serve, and why did you decide to start up this business?
It kind of the thought process started back kind of during COVID. That is the funny thing is I've got I'm going to kind of jump on this, and I want to give you the history of how I came about towards this.
Okay.
And it kind of sets the tone for the rest of it.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, I was in the Navy in the beginning of 2000s.
Well, wait a minute. You didn't mention that.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the Navy?
Yes, sir.
What where'd you serve?
All over. So after boot camp, I got out to Seattle, which actually, no, I went down to Charleston for a Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. And that's where I met someone. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
One of my best friends on the planet. But I left Charleston to go out to Bremerton, Washington, the Seattle area across the Sound.
That's where I was at. Yeah.
Are you? All right. Okay.
I knew it. I told you this was going to happen.
Like, there's always a squid somewhere. I swear.
Of course. I served. I was on submarines at Bangor Sub Base. I was there. I was at Bangor from 80, well, from basically 90 until I got out in 96.
Okay, so I went in actually December 7th of 99.
Yeah, I guess I'm a few years older than you.
Right, but what's this? What day is that one? December 7th.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor Day. Yes.
But no, it did actually the February of 03 or 2000 when I went down to Charleston. I met my buddy Chris Wiseman.
Okay,
him and I became best friends through that school. I left the school early, due some medical reasons, and then they sent me out to the fleet. So I went out to the fleet as a 3rd class machinist mate. Okay. Later, I actually met up with Chris because he was stationed not at Bangor, but I think he was still on the peninsula, but I can't remember exactly where it was at. I knew I could get to his house, but I couldn't, remember exactly where it's at. But me and Chris became inseparable, especially in Charleston. And like 3-day weekends, we would take trips down to Tampa. And I eventually met Jack, Jeff, and a couple others. And it was just a friendship that started there, a friendship that has turned into family. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, like after all of my Navy days, I got out in December of 05, started my professional career. Chris passed away about 10 years ago. And when I went down to, it was Jackson, Tennessee, to go to his funeral, I met back up with who are now my partners and still family, you know, and so we kept in contact from that point. About 2 years ago, one of them had the crazy idea of, hey, you buy a pizza restaurant, I'll work at it.
So wait, he needed a job and he wanted you to.
No. I wasn't like, that was Jeff and Jack having the conversation. It's like, go ahead, buy one.
Okay.
And a pizza shop came open and Jeff was like, all right, I'll test you on that. And literally just was like, let's go. And when they were going through the process of evaluating and the business model towards it, they were like, we want to do a pizzeria and growlers, because at that time, due to COVID restrictions, a 2 COP would allow you to deliver and to go. And they knew that at that point, I'm where I'm at in my beer renaissance. Like, I am the snob, I am the nerd, and
Yes.
I am a true snob. I will call you on stupid. So they said, hey, do you want to come in, being one of the partners and run the alcohol side of the beverage side? And I said, are you what? And it's not one of those typical situations where you walk into, you're like, this is all sweat equity. This is being built from the ground up, getting in. And Jack, he is a pizza guru, and some of our other partners have come in and really kind of helped elevate the shop. Where I come in is, I said, well, if we want to do growlers, I don't like the way typical breweries, which I've done this, and because I've helped at breweries, just fill the growler with CO2. Hey, sure, it's purged, and stick the nozzle in there and go through it. So I found a growler filler station that is a one-stop shop. It actually, when you put the growler in, you tighten it, close the door, and you select the tap that you want. You hit the button, and it purges with CO2, so there's no oxygen left, so there's no chance of oxidation. And it slow pours, it counter pours down the side. So it's technically, if all I did was growlers, I'd have a 98% keg yield. So and that's why I said, you know, growlers aren't dead yet. They really aren't, because I can do a 64 ounce and I can do a 32 ounce. And I actually ran, when we first got the setup up and running, I said, all right, I want to check them. I want a quality assurances, you know, go full QA. I had definitive base reflex on. That's a double New England. And getting from Maine down to Florida, you're at least 3-4 weeks in. What happens to New England's on an age? They start dropping.
Quick. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They drop out quick. So I was like, all right, I want to run this. And I picked the ones that would be the most susceptible to a bad fill. And I said, okay, I want you to take a 32 ounce growler. Mind you, I don't want to ruin all of it, or if it does, it does go bad. But I've got a twisty top can. So I had them pour one and set it in the cooler. A week later, I said, take it out, pour it in, and taste it. There was no quality difference. So at that point, I knew that the system that I invested in, that I knew that could be there, has proven itself. Now it's about going forth. I mean, from the crowlers and the growlers, it is perfect. You know, it truly is. I mean, it's 4 16-ounce pints. You know, it's when you, and especially with ours at the shop, it's all about the extended life of it. So if you know you're having a Parker party, you're going to a football game, you can come in, get the growler, fill it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, shove it in the refrigerator, and you're good. You don't have to come back up. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But it's one of those things, and that's, I think I'm coming back around. I know that I kind of really delved into that. I'm sorry.
No, that was great. No, you gave background.
Plug. But no, I truly, like, when I see if I go over to a friend's house and I see something that I know is a high quality beer, that's just sitting out, gotten warm, and it is weird. I get angry, and I'm like, you just wasted something that you paid $4 or $5 a can for to come home and drink, and then just waste that. You know, I mean, when a 4-pack is $20 to $25, what do you like?
Yeah,
it's personal. That hits.
Yeah,
it hurts right here.
Yeah,
it does.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, so your job is basically you were hired, you bought in to be the beer geek.
Yes,
and I mean, I'm assuming you didn't have any kind of knowledge on what it took to bring in different beers and get them down to Florida or all that stuff. What was the learning process that you had to do?
The learning process was interesting because I knew, understanding, because Florida is still a 3-tier system. You cannot be 2/3 of a 3-tier system. So, and it's kind of one of those things. I got down there and started making, I don't know if you can tell, I'm an extrovert. I can make friends. So
I'm similar.
I
think all three of us are the same, right?
Yeah.
We all make friends really easy.
So I started going down and meeting somebody, and I started calling on the distros that were available, and I've got some really good friends in the industry, not just in the tier 2 side, which is the distribution, but all the many friends that I've made on the brewery side, and even getting to know the other restaurants in the local Tampa area when I'm down is one of the key factors. It's because it's not sometimes the numbers lose itself, and it's about the relationships that you have with everybody. I mean, I met Chris a year ago, and it's been, going from there. We, Facebook and all that. When we're in, it's like, hey, I'm coming down this weekend. He should make sure that he comes in and says hi, and I give him glasses.
It's delirium. You guys had a delirium rep in the shop the other day, right?
Yeah, that was a spur of the moment thing. The Cavalier rep, Stephanie Clark, called my guy down at the shop, Chance Haas, and was like, hey, you want to do a delirium? Like, he's here. You want to do a delirium night? And we, that was that Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. I was coming down Thursday, and literally they had delirium there, pouring pints and giving away glasses. So there's, a couple of pictures of my guys with the delirium pink elephant hat on. It's but it's interesting to figure out where to go on that. It was definitely, like what you say, is the learning curve and understanding where to go. And the biggest, I should say, difficulty for me was, especially in the Florida market, was knowing who and what to order. And there's a couple, I've got 4 main distributors that I like to pick from. There's 2 others that are bigger, they run the big 3 and a couple of the other ones. But I really like to focus, and I realized that, yes, I can pull half of my taps. I've got a 12-tap direct draw system when I started. Half of them were for Maine. So I was able to get something that I knew and were familiar with, but also very believed in, down there to spread the New England, the philosophy of what it was. And I was basically, the 6 others, I was like,
yeah, dude, lunch is what got me to come see you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if I could never do it on the spot, but it was Blaze Brewing, Maine Beer, Mass Landing, Definitive, and this is where I choke. And there's 2 others in there. Barrel Souls, I had them on. I always do this. I always forget one. Sorry, but it was very well received. I mean, seeing lunch, which is funny because it's Maine Beer, they've got other stuff. A few weeks ago, I had Little Whaleboat on, which, by the way, it's coming back. the draw on that. But now, since I've learned of the west side of Tampa, from St. Pete to Gulfport to Dunedin to Clearwater, and coming back around the north, and some one that's 4 minutes down the road is Bullfrog Creek. They're really, really good, elevated, well-built beer in Tampa. And I'm sitting here going, I'm okay with this. Seriously okay with this. So it started to be, there was a lot of conversation with my distros to go, all right, what you got this week? Explain it to me. Knowing the philosophy and what is in the craft, I can kind of gauge where I wanted to put the taps and go from there. But it really worked. And there was a certain point where a friend of mine said, you've created an elite craft bar.
Yeah.
And it was a tearing moment for me, because it was such a stressful environment for about 10, 12 months to go, this is where I'm going. This is where I want to get to. And then getting that validation was like, like you just, it drops. And I knew where I was going. And I had a lot of help. I mean, there was the difficulties and the challenges where I'm still 1,500 miles away. So if something kicks, they're going, what do we do? It was always kind of one of those things of, well, what do you want on next? It's like, I don't know what's going to kick next. I know what I have in my back inventory, but I don't know if maybe a stout kicks or a sour kicks. I can't just say put it on an IPA next, because I have to keep those 12 flowing. So there was a lot of yelling back and forth, but it's been great to go through that process, not only understand where we're at and how to do it, but to learn how to do it and learn those people that I really have confidence in, that sometimes have no financial gain to what we're talking about. They say, no, here's this, and then it goes from there. The craft beer industry is an industry that is like no other for me. Like it does not saturate. It can get a little, I think, angry in certain environments, or certain geographical areas, that they lose focus on. When you add another brewery, your pie slice doesn't get smaller, the pie gets bigger. So it's therefore your pie doesn't decrease, it stays the same angle, it just gets bigger. And it's amazing. I love it. So I hope that answered.
No. Yeah, you answered
a question.
You answered a bunch of questions in that one.
Yeah.
But I do have one more that caught my eye when I was perusing your website. Is I noticed you had a variety of serving sizes that patrons can order.
Yes.
5 ounce, 8 ounce, 12 ounce, 16 ounce, 32, and 64.
They're not you don't get them all in one beer. We do, like, for the 5 ounce, every pour that we've got, so all 12 has a 5 ounce, because that's what we base our flights on.
Yeah.
Right. So it's $3.50 a flight. So I mean, 414. So it's $3.50 for a 5 ounce pour, and you get 4 of them. So there's our flight. But then it bases on ABV, style, whether it's a 12 or a 16. Obviously, if it goes over at 8.5 to 9, we're going to bring that down to a 12 to be a little bit responsible and to help manage the inventory. But a true lager, a Czech, a Hell's, a Kolsch, they're going to be more of the 16 ounce. And then you start, the 32 and the 64 are available on all 12 taps currently.
Okay, so I did notice that you did have some lower ABV.
And that's due to style. Like the 8 ounce that you see right now is probably the Sierra Nevada Hoppington, which is an 11% triple IPA. Yeah. So we're going to put that in 8 ounce.
Yeah, I can see that. But I thought I saw like a hazy IPA, and it may have. I'm guessing the hazy IPA might have been a very small keg you had that you're offering.
I rarely run Well, it all depends on what we get from the distributors and what they get from the breweries. I know like Gulfport Brewing, love Jason Toft over there. He does amazing stuff, but the minimum is a quarter keg. So I've got space in my box in order to fit a quarter keg, but sometimes it just works out. And it all depends on the style and the eliteness of it, because we want to maintain the quality assurance and the inventory levels to make sure that everybody can get it. So sometimes there's a little oddity, but we try to run really that, the stouts and the sours, like I have a system to it, but sometimes it's like when like Hoppington comes in, when you get a big body triple, that's that oddity. That's going on an 8 ounce, because we want to. Up until the renovation before we extended, I was really a pint bar. I would pour you a 14 ounce pint. Since then, it's kind of like let's look at this. Let's review, and it goes along with industry, standards of kind of changing your pour due to the quantity that we're getting in.
Yeah. I'll tell you that I do appreciate breweries that allow you to, or pubs and bars or whatever, to allow you to have less than 16 ounces, but larger than 5 ounces. So I'm a big fan of the 10 ounce pour. So that even a regular pint, if I don't want to have a 16 ounce pint of something that's 8% or 6%, I could have a 10 ounce pour. I'm not drinking as much of it. I can then basically have 3 of those to 2 of the pints.
Yeah, the only thing, and this is really getting into the business side of the like running a bar, is glassware.
Yeah,
like we talked, I was chiming in on the comments about glassware. Glassware is key, but I only have a limited amount of space, so I have to choose. Excuse me.
Take a drink.
That makes it so much better. Oh, sorry, I'm parched. Have a sip, buddy.
Now I can keep going for another 3 hours.
There you go.
But sometimes it is a limitation of the business side, the financial side of it. It's like we just did expand, and we're still figuring stuff out. Some of the placement, especially behind the bar. I got my director of the front end, and I got 4 fantastic bartenders that are there. So it's a give and take amongst the personalities and everything of that nature.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So the other thing I noticed is it true that you can deliver growlers to people?
Yes, I can.
That's possible? I didn't even know that.
It is possible. Then blast this amongst the mountaintops. They did keep because of the COVID time and with the space limitations, they allowed a beer to go. So I have a new 3-bay cooler in, because we didn't have the space before. Now I've got about 100 SKUs within a 3-bay that you can buy a mixed 4-pack or a 4-pack of a certain and take it home. But also at the same time, if you go on to Uber Eats, there's a local one, Mobile Meals, in the Tampa area. We're looking at a couple other delivery options, or even our own delivery services from internally on the shop. You can throw in an order online and say, give me 2 pizzas, some wings, and 2 growlers of this.
Shut
and
up.
we can.
Really?
Yes.
No, I didn't. Look, we're just under 3 miles from you guys. So
yeah, but delivering, we have established the SOPs. Like when you get there and somebody orders a door, you are getting ID. If you're not there, and if you're not of age, you will not be delivered. And they'll bring it back. Obviously, it's not going to go bad, because we follow the rules. We seal the can. We mark brewery ABV, date of fill, and stuff of that nature. So if it does come back, it goes back into the cooler, waiting for somebody else to take it. But yeah, we do. Within our delivery and the delivery services that we have, we can send 32, 64. There is some limitation on the Uber Eats, but but for our own internal delivery services within 5 miles of the shop, we can deliver beer.
Nice. No, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's come a long way, because wasn't it not that long ago that Florida didn't even allow you to do growler fills, right?
Yeah, and I want to say, just for the ones that are listening out there, I do run my growler fills a little different. That it's an exchange program. You pay for the growler up front, is a one-time fee, and then after that, because like I said before, the quality of beer, whether I'm at a dive bar or in my own shop or sitting in my own basement, is the most key thing, because that's what we're doing. Cicerone is the same thing as a sommelier. The quality of the wine is the quality of the beer. And it's not just, some of my brewery friends are going to yell at me for PBR and all the other stuff. It's like,
listen, you and I drank Yingling.
I drank Yingling. I said that.
We had Yingling together the other day.
What place was that? The walk something.
The water hole. God.
Water. Yeah. But it's one of those. It's excuse me, talking too much. You guys bad for me.
I know. We sit here and listen. You just chat away.
I'm sorry. But after that, and I've had some people come in and say, "Oh, I've got this growler." I was like, "Why don't we do that?" Like, and I explained the program because it's about the quality. Because I don't know the condition of what you're bringing. Oh, I just cleaned it. No, you didn't. Like, and at that point, because it inherently, anything that goes out that door, whether it's you carry out or delivery, is a representation of what Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers is. Whether it's the food side or the beer side, anything going out of there is our name out in there. Yeah. And I take pride in that, to say, hold on, let me do something. I grab a new, freshly clean one, fill that. I'll take your old one, or you can keep it. And that way, when you come back, all you do is pay for the fill, for the liquid ounce going back in it. Because what I do is I take your old one and grab a new one and fill it, and I'll clean yours later. So it's, excuse me, keeping the inventory, yes, but it's the quality that what matters to me going back out.
Okay. All right, Conor, I think we've wore you out. Your voice is gone.
I'm not done. Let's go.
Well, but anyway, we're starting to get long in the show. We don't like to have the shows too long. So I think you did a great job explaining what your establishment is about, the quality that you want to make sure every Patreon gets from your establishment. And
both sides, the food and like it is. I might be the VP of beverage, I like this, focus on that. But this is a family environment, from the ownership to the front end and the back, and our customers. We recently had, unfortunately, a customer that was going on a cruise, and she left her purse in there, and we were trying to get it to her. It's like, hey, let us know what the address is of the resort, and we can overnight it to you so you can have some fun, because our customers are our family. Without them, we are nothing.
True. Yeah, very true.
He's family. I don't know where he's at, but
right now I'm above you, right? At least from what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, Conor, thank you very much for sharing with us. It's great to talk with you. I really have appreciated hearing your story, your craft beer journey, your Navy times, being a former, I'm a former squid as well. So
what was your rating?
Missile Tech.
MT. I was I started off as a machinist mate, but I transferred cross-trained over to CB's.
Oh, well, yeah.
As a construction mechanic. You know what CB stand for?
I did at one point, but I don't remember now.
Confused bastards, because they don't know whether they want to be Army or Navy.
Yeah. My buddy Jim, he was a sonar tech, and then when he got out, he went to reserves. There's no sonar tech reserves, so he transferred to CB, and he learned heavy equipment, and then went to work
for equipment operator. Yep.
Yeah. So, I'm familiar with the CB ratings, but yeah. But Chris, like I said, we're getting kind of long. I want to try to keep the show not to be too long. So let's go ahead and skip our new and noteworthy and just go into the moment we get to go ahead and raise a glass to.
Well, my Deth's tar is empty. So
Is it empty? Wait. What about? Oh, you have nothing else? You brought one beer to the show?
No, I had.
Come on, man.
No, there's another beer in my cooler, but I'm not going to crack it open. And
why is it 14% as well?
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm a responsible adult. I have to be to work at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think.
I'm up at 4 to be at my site at 5:30.
Congratulations to you guys and you early risers.
I'm up early every day too.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I don't know what it is about you Navy folk.
It's Navy guys. Yeah, we don't know how to.
You sleep in till 5 a.m. That's cute. Yeah. So, all right. Well, guys, I want to raise a glass to Conor. Thank you, buddy, for coming on with us today.
Yes,
I love that you were in here in the Tampa area with us. I'm glad we got to spend some time with you. And got to have some awesome food over at Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers. The food, guys, if you ever get the chance to go there, go. Jack's going to make you some awesome pizza. Right. So, and all the other food that we have, I mean, we just finished off those roast beef sliders.
Oh.
Those were good too. Go if you come to Tampa, go check them out. And if you go visit there, I'll buy you your first beer there.
Ooh, nice.
Oh. This guy right here.
Just 2.7 miles south, according to Google Maps. So, Conor, thanks for coming on with us, buddy. I appreciate it.
That was my pleasure tonight. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but it was an honor to be invited on. I know that I blow your comments up when I watch, but it was really awesome to be invited on.
Yeah, we love your comments. We love people commenting, and
well,
I felt that I already knew you by all your comments because I could tell what your likes and dislikes are and everything else as we.
Well, then let's ask one more question before I ask you, Denny. Eric Gronley says, dumb question maybe, but what's your favorite beer and pizza combo, Conor?
Oh.
Ooh. I mean, if it's a cheese, I'm probably going to go a really light lager like a Pilsner or Kolsch at Hell's. If it's a deeper, like our disclaimer, shameless plug, our Gasparilla, which is basically a cumid on a pizza. I'm going to go something more big bodied to match that. A lot of people would offset for me. Like they would say, I'd rather go lighter with a bigger. I like to go bigger, a porter, a stout, something of that nature to kind of match that big, meaty, style of pizza. That's me. So.
And they do a lot of different styles of pizza, guys. I mean, anything from you want just pepperoni and cheese, cool, get that. But the Gasparilla pizza, I mean, one of my favorites is you guys have a breakfast pizza.
Yeah.
That's got scrambled eggs on it. Look, we bring that home and we put some maple syrup and Frank's Red Hot on that. Oh my God. So good. I mean, a little bit of everything. If you can, don't you guys have a BLT pizza too?
Yes, it's a mayonnaise base with a bacon, lettuce, and tomato on it.
I mean, just phenomenal stuff there, guys. I mean, we're so lucky that it's right down the street. So, but yeah, that's a pretty good question, Eric. Not a dumb question. And then let's see, I can listen. 14.5% beer. I completely lost where I was going.
I'll talk about my pizza. I like. I'm a sucker just for pepperoni pizza, and I love it with a Kolsch or a light lager.
Okay.
I like the lighter beers with the spiciness. It helps calm down.
Eric said listener trip to Tampa. Yeah, come on, man. You do it. I'll buy you your beer and your pizza. Hell, if Eric, you come, I'll buy you your pizza too.
Okay. So
there we go.
Talking about Eric, he is our Patreon toast of the night. He just happened to chime in right before I give my toast to our Patreon. So cheers to you, Eric. You are our Patreon toast tonight. And I also want to raise my glass to the Blanchard family. Mike Blanchard is a Patreon as well. When I was in Oregon, I made it to visit him while I was there. And we went to this fantastic small tap room called West Valley Tap Room in Dallas, Oregon. And had a great time, and they invited us back to the family dinner, Sunday night dinner. and surprised his mother by bringing my wife and my daughter and I to have dinner. And we were welcomed with open arms and had a great meal and a great time. So cheers to the Blanchard family. Also, Dean Muckers, met him. He's Mike's brother-in-law. We had a fantastic conversation. So if you're listening, Dean, cheers to you. And of course, the beer tender at the West Valley Tap House, Melissa, who listens to the show and recognized my voice, I guess, without me even saying that I'm a podcaster.
Listen, that's creepy and awesome.
That is creepy, but cheers to Melissa.
Cheers, Melissa.
Fantastic beer tender, who is also a Cicerone and is going for her advanced Cicerone as well. And we had a great conversation, and she was really good at providing insight.
Level three.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure of all levels.
Level 1 is certified beer server, and then when you get to level 2, you're Cicerone. So yes, it's level 3 is advanced, and then level 4 is master.
Yeah. So
do we need to talk to Melissa too?
Hey, if
probably,
Melissa,
that would be a great idea.
Yeah, Melissa, if you are hearing this, write us an email. We'll have you on the show because I'd love to talk to you more. I enjoyed our interaction while you were serving me up some great beers. So cheers to you.
tapthecraft@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, my buddy Alex Fuchs, we mentioned him earlier, brought me a bunch of beer from Israel and Europe, again on his visit that he was here last week. And to all our listeners in Israel, he told me that there's a bunch of people that are listening and enjoying the show. Omar, for one, we had a tasting together and we became friends. So cheers to everyone out there. And of course, being a former serviceman, I want to raise my glass and I want to thank all those who have served and are currently serving in the U.S. military services, protecting our freedoms. Thank you for your service, and please return home safely to your families very soon. And Chris, why don't you go ahead and give a toast to our sponsor?
So I want to raise a glass to the folks over at Frost Buddy, specializing in cooling containers for your beverage of choice. Frost Buddy has the Universal Buddy 2.0, which is right here in my hand, which is the world's first universal can cooler for 12-ounce cans, slim cans, bottles, and even 16-ounce cans. Frost Buddy also has the world's first universal wine cooler, 24-ounce stainless steel mugs, and even stainless steel dog bowls. Go visit their website at frostbuddy.com.
And you can find the beers that we talked about on our show notes, located on the show post at tapthecraft.com. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at Loose Screw. And Chris, how can I just follow you?
Denny, I used Twitter today.
Whoa, no way. I need to get on there and find that tweet.
Listen, I'm having a problem with Amazon right now. So that's why I use my Twitter at Chris_McKenzie82.
What are you talking about? It's a start of Prime Days.
Listen, Prime Days. Yeah, listen, I've been having a problem with a $1,500 bill that I spent a couple years ago. Anyway.
Years ago?
Yeah, the product that I bought had a 5-year warranty on it, and the seller is not reaching out or is not responding to my calls, voicemails, text messages, emails.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago, man. Good luck.
No. That was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The 5-year warranty. Anyway, if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Chris_McKenzie82. I did turn the notifications on my app today. Or you can find me on Untapped and Instagram at MCK1345. Sorry, the beer got me. And you can follow us on all things social at Tap the Craft. Conor, where can we find you guys?
Yeah.
You can find me at Gasparilla is our the website. In the Gasparilla Pizzeria and Growlers on Facebook. You get a hold of us that way. I am actually on, I think, TikTok under Beerbarian. I don't know.
I'll go follow you because I got a couple pages on TikTok.
I am on Instagram, but that's my the other one. But I'm gonna try to start doing more actual beer reviews, where I smash something that's less equivalent to what it's actually in the can for, and then talk about something that we replace it. So, but no, Yeah, Facebook, the website for the shop. You can get us there. We've got Instagram and Twitter off the top of my head. Sorry.
Or just reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with them.
There you go. Get a hold of this guy. He knows exactly where to go. I want to say thank you to Chris and Denny for bringing me on. I do want to say I agree with Denny about the service members, especially my buddy Chris, who's no longer with me. And he's the reason why I am here with Gasparilla, because without him, I wouldn't know my partners and my family. And while we do argue and bicker like family, and I love them very much, and this is part of why we're here. So thank you to let me speak this evening.
Cheers to Chris.